Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Coffee cups up. Welcome to Coffee Chats Unfiltered. Y'all, we're going to introduce ourselves and then we are going to talk about something that is really important. And we just thought that we would make mention of it today because everybody needs to know about what to do. Everybody had some calls of action here. But I'm Cynthia Merritt. Super excited to be here. I have been here for 63 years and I have gained some knowledge, gained some experiences, gained some items that I would like to offer as tips and tricks in going through. You know what I was thinking about yesterday? There are so many times that I have gone through the valley and come back up, gone through down into the valley and come back up. And I was talking
Mhm.
about the bounce back ability, the resilience, that
Ah,
bounce back ability. And that's the kind of stuff we're here to share with you guys.
mhm.
Let me turn it to my co-host.
That bounce back is serious, Cynthia. Hello,
Yep.
everybody. I am Valerie Davis, and I am 54 years old, and I'm bouncing back. Seem like I just keep bouncing back by the grace of God. And I've learned some things. I'm here to share. I'm here to continue to learn. Every day is a learning day. We got to keep going and growing. This community is very helpful. It's for help. It's helpful for everyone. It's helpful for everybody. But we also focus on our 50 and up individuals because sometimes we feel like our age defines who we are and where we're going and what we can do and what we can't do. So we're here to break those barriers and just keep on living. All right.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is wonderful. So, you know, okay, so in plain English, breaking down this SAVE Act, I have spoken to a few individuals over the last month and asked people if they are preparing for the SAVE Act because they're trying to get that through Congress, through the Senate. It's already gone through the House. They're trying to get it through the Senate. This is not something that we need to sleep on, y'all.
Mhm.
You know, it really hurts me when I think about all that our ancestors have done. And we truly are, and we need to think of ourselves like this. We truly are our ancestors' wildest dreams. This is what they dreamt of when they dreamed of this when they were enslaved, you know,
Mhm.
and when they came out, they dreamed of this. And y'all, we are showing them what we could do and what has been done. And so all of that is being taken away now with this new regime. So we are going to see how we can fight this back and not let that happen to what all the work that they put into it. So, what is the SAVE Act? Just to break it down. So, the SAVE Act, it stands for, the acronym is Safeguard American Voter Eligibility. That's the SAVE and its Act. So, it's the SAVE Act.
Mhm.
Safeguard American Voter Eligibility. So, the main goal of the SAVE Act is to make sure that only United States citizens can register to vote in federal elections. But see, that's been the case anyway. I think there's been one situation where an immigrant who didn't have U.S. citizenship actually got in to the voter registration and was able to cast a vote.
Mhm.
Um, so you know, but this is really what it's doing is disproportionately targeting people, and I just want to
Right.
talk about who it's targeting. Is the people who are going to be affected mostly from these actions with this act are the millions of United States citizens who don't have their birth certificate. Y'all, if you don't have a birth certificate, all you have to do is contact your county
Right.
and you can get your sealed copy, the one that's stamped with the seal or whatever, the original copy, and they will mail it to you. So I can't remember the cost. I had to get mine. I had to get mine from Los Angeles, California, because that's where I was born. But
Mhm.
and they sent me the original from 1962, and that thing looks a hot mess. But anyway, and I got my sons, and stuff from here in Atlanta. So it's not that cost is not, astronomical or anything. I think it was like $5, $10, maybe
Yeah,
$10.
I think now it's like $15, 10 to
Oh,
15.
15. Okay. So good deal. And so y'all get your call to action on that is get your birth certificate, your
Mhm.
original birth certificate. If you have that, you're good. So many women, also women are being targeted with the SAVE Act. You have changed your last name, and I did the same. I was married twice, honey. I changed it both times.
Mhm.
But then if you change your last name, it's different from what's on your birth certificate. So they're saying anyone who has a different name than what's on their birth certificate, you're not going to be able to vote.
Wow.
Right. So that's just a flat out target to women, because women are the only ones who change their last name.
Is
And
that
I was saved only, Val, because when my husband died in 1998, for some
uh-huh.
reason in 2000, I said, you know what, I think I'm gonna change my name back to Merritt. And I changed from Reynolds to Merritt. And so now, since then, 2000, my last name has legally, I changed it back. I have the document, but it's Merritt, and that's what's on my birth certificate. So I'm fine, but a lot of people aren't. A
I'm
lot
not?
of you know.
So, look, let me say this. So that
Uh-huh.
means that I'm not then. So on my, which has been a weird thing for a very long while, so I really got to get it rectified now. On my driver's license is Valerie Davis. On my social security card is Valerie Bowden. And on my birth certificate is Valerie Mason, which is my maiden name. So
Girl,
they're just gonna throw me to the woods and then
yeah,
get me.
they'll throw you in jail. They're gonna say we don't know who the and I'm not even being funny about that, Val, because
Exactly. They're
we're
not gonna.
looking for reasons, because they would say she's trying to do some kind of fraud. Who is she? We
It's,
don't know. We're going to detain her until we can find out, and they're never going to investigate. You're just going to
it's
be
that.
detained.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
got to get all my things done, especially now with me getting married next month. So everything's got to match up.
yes. So are
So
you changing your name?
I'm changing my name to his name.
Okay, so and I mean that's gonna be an issue because Mason is your birth certificate name,
Yes.
and yeah, so it's not gonna match. So you're not gonna be able to vote if they pass this. But what I'm telling people right now is, if you're getting married, and I'm so happy that when I just say that to some people, they're like,
Mhm.
"Girl, I already know. I'm not even gonna change my name," and he
Mhm.
knows. Yeah, cause we just want to be able to vote. But I mean, you do what you want to do, but you just won't be able to vote if your name doesn't match your birth certificate.
That is so stupid to me.
That's why they're targeting
That's why
us.
we're talking about it. So it's so weird because, like you said, it does affect women a whole lot. It will
Yeah,
affect senior citizens too, but it's women who are getting married to. How do you think that makes the man feel that you're marrying now that you may
absolutely.
pay? And what I want her to have her voting rights, so I'm going to let her keep her maiden name. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. And so yeah, and that's going to cause a lot of conflict in the family, because
hmm
if he wants you to take his name,
hmm
then you take his name if you're fine with that and proud of that, which is good because we all were when we got married. But it never was a choice that you
hmm
do that or be able to vote,
hmm hmm
and that's why it's just a target. It's crazy. But anyway, also, so that's the issue with that,
hmm
with the maiden name. And then the students, y'all, if you're attending college like in another state or even in another city in the same state, you may not have your birth certificate or your passport or anything accessible to you. So you need to make sure to get that from mom or whoever, dad or whoever has those documents, or contact the county and get your copies. But make sure you get that, because a lot of college students, I know when I went back and forth to college, I never had my documents with me.
Right, right.
That's something you need to have now. Also, rural Americans, people who live in rural areas, disabled citizens, Val. because they count on doing mail-in voting.
Right.
They're trying to do away with mail-in voting with this. So if that means you would have to get to a polling place. And what we're going to have to rely on, call to action, y'all, is people transporting disabled people, elderly people to
Mm-hmm.
the polls
Mm-hmm.
to vote because
Mm-hmm.
they want to show up at the polling places. And they'll probably have some ICE people out there, trying to scare people away and stuff at the polling places. That's what they said anyway.
Cynthia, you know what I see with that happening?
Hmm.
If relying on transporting our elderly, which is really good, if people are doing it, transporting them for the sake of being good so that they can vote. But when it becomes a cost factor, that's when
Yeah,
it's going to be a problem. So
yeah.
now they're going to attach a dollar to it. Oh,
Mm.
if you want to go vote, then this is going, it's going to, it
You
could
won't
be a
have
good
that
thing.
extra money. You're right. Hmm.
Exactly. So you got to, it's just going to cause a big, big havoc. But prayerfully, mm, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna add this caveat. Call to action, y'all. Good Samaritans, people with good hearts that
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure our elderly and people in rural areas who don't have transportation and rely on mail in voting. And we actually should do a poll or a focus group or something to
Yes.
get these people who are in these areas who need some transportation. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to do a better job of organizing anyway, y'all, and put some organization together, like people who have vans and stuff like that, or even
Mm-hmm.
just cars, and take
Mm-hmm.
people, but pick them up, take them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be worried about your gas money. Don't be
Yeah.
charging people a cost because you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart, right, Val?
Right. Exactly. Don't worry about the time it's going to take. Hey, let's just get them to the polls.
It's yeah, just think about what you're doing for God
Mm.
and about your ancestors looking down and saying, "Look at you, girl, taking all the people to the polls." So but yeah, so those what is it? Mail-in voting,
Yeah.
the mail-in voting where the transportation is burdensome. And then the last one on this one I was going to say is the suppression of the black and people of color vote. Here's
Mm.
what's
Mm.
happening.
Mhm.
So, anybody can, and this is something that's been a rule or a law. I don't know if it's a law, but it's a rule that people follow when they're doing fraudulent things.
Uh-huh.
You and I can challenge someone's right to vote.
Mhm.
We can contact the Board of Elections, and you could say about me, you could call them and say, I don't think Cynthia Merritt has the right to vote.
Right, right.
I don't think she's eligible to vote. And then if it's not contested within 30 days,
Mhm.
be removed from the voter registry because someone else contested your vote. That's how they did a lot of voter for suppression in some of the elections that were in the last 10 years that we just saw and everything. But they just take you off the rolls by the millions because they say that they contest your right to vote. And if you
Mhm.
don't know anyone is contesting your right to vote, then you're not calling and saying, I do have the right to vote. And so after 30 days, your name is purged from the registry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's happening with they're purging a lot of people of color and black people. And so they want to do that. They know that a lot of people don't know about that rule
Mhm.
and they don't even know. So, call to action, y'all. My call to action is call your voter registration or go online to the voter registration site and make sure you are still registered to vote. Do
Yeah.
that. Do that frequently
Mhm.
because right now they're really trying to get a lot of people purged off the voter registry. And so if they can get it off without any pushback or anything, just by contesting your right to vote, that's the easy way to go. So check and make sure you're still registered to vote.
This
So
this
that
is this
go
is
ahead.
a good message and a great call to action high for our young adults 30 and under, 21
Absolutely.
and to 30 because sometimes they may, it may not just be a thought,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
something that really needs to be known and said to that generation as well.
Mm-hmm. And one thing too, they a lot of people don't go online to register to vote or go somewhere, go down to the Board of Elections to register. They don't put that intent,
Hmm.
to do that. But what
Hmm.
they how they get registered is when they do applications like for Medicaid, food
Yes.
stamp, SNAP, or something like that. They'll
Mm.
always ask you, or even at the DMV, do you want to register to
Yep.
vote? And if
Hmm.
you do, they register you to vote, but you don't
Hmm.
think anything about it because all you're doing is applying for the benefits or getting your driver's license. And
Hmm.
so you don't think anything about it. You're registered to vote at that point, but you don't
Hmm.
think about, oh, let me just make sure one day when it's time to vote before the election that I'm still on the registry. And a lot of people are finding out that their name is not there. So just
Oh.
check. You're right about that, Val. That's great for young people. So,
Hmm.
girl, what do you think?
This is giving me a headache.
Well, it is, and you know what though? But it's a good headache because
It
we
is.
have to do something. We can't sit down. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna jump in, and then I'm gonna give it to you. Um, you know, and this is how I felt after the election. Okay,
Mm.
this is not our fight. We have done all this. We did everything right. Da-da-da. This is y'all's fight. Now, we don't need to necessarily get out in the street
Mm.
and protest because they're looking for us to be out there so they can put us in the detention centers
Hmm. Hmm.
or even be like the people in Minnesota.
Hmm.
But we don't want that. But what you can do is what you can do. And
Right.
right now, we
Mhm.
can take control of all of this, just making sure we still have the right to vote. If we do get free elections, I mean, good, fair, and free elections again, we want to be able to turn this thing around. Okay, let me give it to you.
Oh my goodness, this has just been, and just like I said, that gave me a headache. So just imagine if there are some people that say this is just, it's too much for me. I don't even want to have to deal with it. That's when we have to remind them why they're dealing with this, because the people that support this, why do we have supporters of this? Um, what are they saying that's needed? So supporters will argue that the Safe Act protects election integrity, prevents the non-citizen from voting, creates clear, uniform rules across states. It builds public trust in selections. So in short, um, voting is a right of citizens, as Cynthia's been telling us this entire time. It's a right of citizens, and this law makes this crystal clear. So why are the critics concerned? So we're thinking about that. Put these things and these questions in your mind. The opponents worry that the SAVE Act could make it harder for eligible citizens to vote. Cynthia told us about our senior citizens. That's big on my list. I am so big for our seniors to be able to um, utilize their capability of voting, being out and about. Y'all, not just the senior citizens. What about the low income voters?
Yes.
All of us in those rural areas, those rural voters. Cynthia mentioned about changing the women having to change their names. So um, it's this is a real thing. And I guess
Yeah.
I'm still thrown aback by it because now I'm thinking about my name,
Yeah.
and that just kind of like got
Really,
me.
you have to do something about yours because you got three, three names.
Exactly. So now I'm like, wow. And when you never thought about it, I know I'm not the only one. You never really thought about it, and so now, oh my goodness, I got to do something really fast because I want to continue to keep my right to vote. I don't want anyone doing anything about that. So oh Cynthia, I just don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
just go for it. Oh my goodness. I
I
need
know, I know. Look, we don't want to get you some coffee, girl. But anyway, so what the law is going to require, of course, we like we said, proof of citizenship, and so what you're going to need is your U.S. passport. And I didn't realize so many people didn't have a U.S. passport.
Mhm,
I carry
mhm.
mine in my purse right now because,
Yep.
and mine make sure it's always
Mhm,
valid and it's not
mhm.
expired because your passport shows your birth certificate and your identification
It sure
because
does.
you have to have a birth certificate to get a passport. So
Mhm.
they know if you have a passport, you're already double checked. So if
Right.
I whip out my passport that's like my birth certificate and my passport. But we
Right.
do have to show that. And people who are naturalized for their citizenship, you need to have your papers,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they're looking for. And the states are going to definitely be requiring those verifications for federal and state elections. So this coming up in some of them, I think Texas started last week, their primaries. So
Yeah.
they're usually March through whatever. And so ours, I know in Atlanta, I think it's in like May. I can't remember. I'll have to look at it and see. But anyway, so we need to be able to vote on those because voting for our local electors,
Mm-hmm.
or elect the people that we're voting for, they
Hmm.
are the ones that are most important for us right now because these are
Right.
the ones. And I love who we have here, John Ossoff. I really love John.
Yeah.
He's doing some good work.
Yeah. You
So,
have personal relationship emailing.
girl, I know he sent his office sent all the information about the event that he had last week, but I wasn't gonna, I wasn't planning on attending, but I was glad to see that it was happening, and so and it's good. Yeah, he's like the verbiage was, so we hope you'll come out and join us, But yeah, but we non-citizens, of course, they've always been explicitly barred. This is nothing that's different. I don't know why people think immigrants can come over here and vote. They're not even they don't have any ID to show. Any
Right.
valid ID to show. So it's just crazy
Exactly.
when they talk about that. So we're not
Exactly.
even concerned about the non-citizens. Nope, nope, nope. So okay, Val.
Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me see. Where am I? What am I going to talk about, Chad? Let's see here. Well, um, let's talk about the important context people often miss. Non-citizens are already prohibited from voting in federal elections under current law, as Cynthia just spoke. The debate is mainly about how strict the proof requirements should be. So this is a part of broader national conversation about voter access versus voter security. So Cynthia has stated earlier about what the requirements are, the birth certificates and all of the birth certificates, the passports, all those type things. And if you don't have access to it, it's easy to get them. So go ahead and make sure that you do get your passport and your birth certificate. Um, One sentence explanation that you can simply use. The SAFE Act would require people to show proof of US citizenship to register to vote in federal elections. So, aiming to prevent non citizens from voting, but critics say if it could also make voting harder for some eligible Americans. Okay. So we're not trying to, we see which way the world is going. And I've been having this conversation with my young adults or what have you. So we're not wanting, we're not wanting all this change that's trying to come. But the way that we protect ourselves and protect our young adults that are coming up, I think about my grandchildren. I don't know about anybody else. I think about my 10-year-old, my 5-year-old, and my 3-year-old in the world to come. I think about that. So if we do our part now, the best that we can, then we're safeguarding our grandchildren and great grandchildren. And yeah, this is like, I guess I'm going through this little thing right now where I'm thinking about everything that's being really, really, really thinking about everything that's being said. And I don't know how I'm feeling right now, Miss Cynthia.
But you know what? And Val, I'm gonna interrupt you right there, and I'm gonna say, I wish I could literally put my arms around you and hug you because I know how you're feeling. We're
Yeah.
all feeling that,
Mhm.
and you though you're feeling more than me because you have grandchildren.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
my next door neighbor, I was talking to him yesterday. They have a 2 year old and a 2 month old.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whole time I was standing out in the yard talking to him, and we were talking about, are they gonna have any more? And I was talking about my sons and everything. And I was looking at his face, and I was thinking to myself, God, please be with them, because they don't know what kind of world they're bringing these babies into.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You don't know what kind. We're at war now. We
Exactly.
literally at war with Israel,
Yeah.
bombing Iran, and
Mm-hmm.
no conversation was had with Congress, it was just done. And
Mm-hmm.
Congress has to approve a war. And so we're in this fiasco, guys. And so we have it's going to every regime has been every empire has fallen because the people, and we talked about this, the power of the people. We can take it back, but the people are larger than the regime.
Yes.
That's what we have to do. We have to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to come together and we can fight
Mm-hmm.
this
Hmm.
for our babies, like you said, Val.
Right. We
If we
have
keep
to.
that, yeah, if we keep that tunnel vision, see your babies at the end of it and say,
Yes.
yeah, because it's like our ancestors did with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? My grandson, he's 10. I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna let you finish up. We have really good conversations, and I love the questions that he asks. And he says, he asked me, today is Sunday, so this was on Thursday. He said, Grandma, if everybody is worried about what's gonna happen in the world and we're just kids, how do we stop what's gonna happen in the world?
Mm.
This is a 10-year-old asking me this.
But that lets you know where his mind is. He's far
Exactly.
beyond his years. That's awesome.
Exactly.
'Cause he's
Exactly.
he's thinking. He's putting these things together, and that
Mhm.
he does. When the people that running the world and the
Mhm.
government, when it gets old, But we just have to get it back to a place where we can be proud to want to run it and organize together and do that. So it's
Exactly.
awesome. But I love that he asked you that question. That
Mhm.
was beautiful.
Yeah. And I didn't answer the question. I just said, look at you using all those brain cells. I did it like that. I said, so now how are you doing in English? Little things like that, because I didn't even want to think about it. I didn't want to try to come up with an answer because I didn't really know what to say at that time. And
But he
sometimes
still
I,
wants to know.
pardon me?
He still wants to know.
He does. He does. Well, you know what? You're gonna have to talk to mommy and daddy for a second. Let grandma get it together before you ask me another question.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So he can definitely have that conversation.
Yeah. So
I love that.
sorry to interject, but I just had to tell you that.
Oh,
To
no,
tell
that's
y'all people.
beautiful. That's an example of what our young people and see, and that's the thing. We have to keep them at the forefront of our mind. This is what we're doing all this for, because a lot of us are, not going to be here for all that long time. But
Exactly.
we have more years behind us than we do ahead of us.
Ahead
But
of
we
us.
got to think about the future we're leaving them. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
You're right. I did this exercise with my class last week, with my trainees. We did the block paper, 100 blocks on the paper, and I asked each of them to put a check to signify each year that they're here on this earth. So for me, 54 checks on that 100 block. Um, and I said, this is if I live to see 100, this is how many more summers I have. This is how many more vacations I have. This is how many more birthdays I have. And I said, just what you just said, I have more years behind me than I could possibly have ahead of me. So we got to make those years count. And
Absolutely.
if you would have seen, because in this plant, this is we have all generations now. We're looking at the 21-year-olds, the 35, the 48, the 60, and they're looking at each other like, wow, what? I'm going to make my life work. I'm going to make my time count. It was so amazing for them to see it that way. And then their brains just start like, oh, okay, this is real. This real world, you know?
Yes, and for you to look at them and see those lights going off in their
Yeah,
brain, like, oh wow, I had thought about that. That's so rewarding. I know it
it
was.
felt good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Making it. All
Mhm.
right, now, y'all, we are still posting in the comments the
Mhm.
list of independent media sites. I
Mhm.
I pray and ask that you, first of all, we ask that you guys come and take a look at the video, like and subscribe and share. And then always look at the independent media sites because they are showing you the information you need to know. You're
Mhm.
seeing news, unlike the bought news. You know, the news you're watching on TV are the networks that have been bought and paid
Yeah.
for. They're only showing you what they want you to see. If you look at independent media, you'll see what's really going on. I mean, they're giving footage, you're getting video and everything about the strikes in Iran right now. The people, they bombed a girls' school, and right now they have a death. Well, that was yesterday, a death toll of
Mhm.
80 young women out of college. And they're not showing that kind of stuff on the news all the time, those videos and stuff. But anyway, so check out the independent media. Um, attachment we have to the comments. And please leave your comments. We would love to hear your comments. We would love to discuss your comments. And we thank you guys for stopping by. Like we said, like, subscribe, and share. And Val, do you have a final word for us?
Yes. I would just like to say this is trying times. And each and every time when I was younger, and I can hear my mother saying things like this too now, and we talked about this last night, she will always say, "This too shall pass." I didn't understand what she meant when I was younger, but I understand now because everything that's not of that is happening is not going to last always. Everything that's hard is not going to be a forever. Everything that's not going your way is not going to be forever. So this too shall pass. The time that we're in right now, keep in our minds that this too shall pass. So tell yourself that daily when you get frustrated, when you get tired, or you feel like you can't go on, and you're looking at this entire world and see what's going on, and it begins to drain you. Just say, "This too shall pass."
I love that word. I love that word. And just think
Mm.
about the books that will be written about in this time. And I think everybody who is having an experience or any emotions about this time, once it's over with, once it passes, this too shall pass. And once we have passed through this, because we all came together and raised up and took everything back and turned into another direction because we were looking at our babies and saying, we got to make
Right.
another way for them. Think about the books that they're going to read as teenagers and young adults, and
But
about the things that we did to take it back. And they're going to be so proud of us, just like we were about our ancestors. All right,
mhm,
y'all.
mhm,
Thanks
mm,
so much for stopping by. We love you. And we're going to be together. And like Val's mom said always, you guys, this too shall pass. Let's
yeah.
take our country back. Let's do what we need. And get your vote, honey.
Mm.
All
Get your.
right?
Let me get all my names together to one name.
Yeah, one day. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Have a great
Bye.
evening.